With the pork butchery behind us, it's now time to start processing the meat. Today, we're turning the leaf fat into leaf lard. So the things I'm using for this is, of course, the leaf fat, a cutting board and knife, about 1/3 cup of water, a stock pot, or in this case a Dutch oven, in which we'll render down the lard. And then for the final product, we'll be pouring that into a mason jar. We'll probably need more than that. And the workhorse for this is my ProCut meat grinder. I've done this in the past, just chopping up the lard as fine as I could by hand. It's tedious, and you just don't get the same results in the end. The render out just isn't as good. Running it through the mixer first makes a huge difference, not only in time savings, but you get a much better end product. So with my knife, I'm going to start cutting up the leaf fat into chunks. We don't need to get super fine and fussy with it, just chunks that are small enough to fit through the hole to go down into the grinder. I got the leaf fat cubed up, and I discarded some of the little gross bits on there, some bloody bits on there. So I got that taken care of. It's just the good clean pieces left. Now it's time to run it through the machine. Here we are, isn't this just beautiful? Alright, enough of that. Let's go get this on the stove rendering. The Dutch oven is over a very low flame. It's about the lowest setting that the flame will go. And with that, we'll add a little bit of water in there. So 1/3 of a cup wasn't quite enough, so we'll make it about a 1/2 cup. The purpose of the water is to create just a little bit of barrier between the fat and the bottom. Just gonna scrape the entirety out. We don't want to waste any of this. This stuff is precious. That water that we added to the pot will evaporate, so it's not like you're gonna get a runny product in the end. It'll steam off and you'll be left with just the lard in the end. You can see that there on the side that it's already starting to render out just a few minutes in. So I'm just gonna lid this, but I'm gonna leave the side of it cracked open there so the evaporation can occur. And we're gonna leave it on the stove for just a few hours, probably 2 to 3 hours, and we'll check back. It should be pretty rendered out by then. Oh, and one other thing about this is the key is keeping that flame low. If we get the temperature too high in there, it's gonna render too quickly and it'll brown slightly. It's not gonna ruin your lard, it'll still be fine, but it won't give you that snow white, pure, clean look. And the lard will probably have more of a porky flavor to it, so it probably wouldn't be good for baked goods, pastries, that kind of stuff. You would just want it for, say, searing steaks and just as an oil in the skillet. But if you're trying to get the best product for baking, low and slow. So here we are about 2 hours later. I turned the heat off of this about 30 minutes ago because it was pretty well undone. So the fat has rendered into this nice liquid, and ideally you would have a funnel for this part, but I don't have one, so I have to be careful with the strainer. I'm just gonna ladle. And there we have our lard. Just gonna wipe this up from where I spilled a little bit. So I'm going to finish ladling the rest of this lard into another mason jar. This is going to go in the refrigerator, and I will show you what it looks like when it's cooled in a few hours. And here is our final product. Because this is white and doesn't have any brownish tint to it, we know that this is going to be really clean, smooth lard. It's not going to have the porkiness to it, so this is going to be great for baking or using in the skillet.